Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Kid Cudi is taking a stand today. By the time this come out, he would already took the stand, but I want to break this down because we want to see if P. Diddy is guilty of this RICO or if he's being guilty of a but I love a dog type of dude. All right, let's go. Let's keep it moving. All right. All right, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. Kid Cudi taking a stand. We're going to get right in it. I'm going to give you a hood perspective, how, we see this from our mindset, because I know that y'all not used to hearing a hood perspective. Let's keep it moving. All right.
Rapper Kid Cudi is now on the stand in the Shawn Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial. He reportedly had a brief relationship with Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura nearly 15 years ago. His testimony follows George Kaplan, a former employee of Combs who was granted immunity in exchange for his testimony.
Yo, didn't Kid Cudi look like he was in a hurry to get in there to break it all down? He was moving kind of fast, right? Let's ride. If that was me, and they called me in there about some brief relationship, as they said, that I had with a female and her billionaire boyfriend, I'm not trying to be a part of that. Just get what you can from the billionaire and bring it back to me, so you could pay for us to go jet setting and riding in his private jet and all that. I love it. Let him pay for it. That's where I would be at. I'm not trying to go in trial and add to that to mess up something that I know is going to come back together. Cassie and Diddy, as crazy as it sounds, they love each other. We have these twisted minds that been through so much different traumas growing up that they interpret toxicity as love. And that's what we're trying to prevent right now. We're trying to prevent toxicity from being love or interpreted as love. Let's finish playing this.
He told jurors about the elaborate process of setting up hotel rooms for what prosecutors allege were drug-fueled sex parties called freak-offs. Combs denies all of the allegations against him and says all sexual encounters were consensual.
All right, let's take him, right? Let's take this dude here, right? If I was a defense attorney, I'm just playing defense attorney so y'all understand how to look at this from a different side, from your darkest side. I'm a defense attorney. Now, Diddy, right? Diddy hires a white dude. Clean-cut white dude looks like a cop, and he say, hey, I need you to clean up the cum, the semen, whatever it is that splash on the walls, and I need you to stock the joint to whatever we need to create this, right? This is what he did. And this man took this job. What kind of man takes a job like that? What type of man takes a job to clean up another man's baby-making waste? And stocking on hotels for things that, the way he looked like he knew was illegal. From the way they're describing it, I'm just asking, just a question. But then now he sit here, he stocks the joints, he do all of that, and then now he testifies, but he says he wants immunity. It's hard for them to give out immunity, but they gave him immunity because it's something he's going to say that's going to be so damaging to Diddy. So right now, all this, everybody focusing on him whooping Cassie's don't mean nothing compared to what's really to come. Remember, they still got 7 weeks. I'm just having fun breaking it down, but you better believe the government don't play when they come. Now, and they have the power to give out freedom for testimony. Imagine somebody say, look, either you testify this way or you go to jail. You answer that. What would you do? If somebody said, either you do this or you go to jail. No, but that didn't happen. No, I need you to say that. No, I'm not going to say that. All right, put the cuffs on him. All right. And he starts singing more than Mariah Carey and Smokey Robinson, even though Smokey Robinson got a charge now himself because it's that easy right now. You got the bag, you older, you got younger people around you. This is what they turn it into, where old people are going to have to find old people to take care of them. They got their type of morals that's not going to misinterpret certain accents as today's society interpret them. But let's get back to this.
Let's bring in ABC's Rena Roy alongside contributor and criminal defense attorney Bernarda Villalona, live outside of the courthouse there. And Rena, just set the scene for us. What is the latest from court right now?
Now, I'm going to break it down after Rena break it down.
Well, Alex, we saw Kid Cudi walk into the courthouse this morning with a bit of swagger.
Thank you. She noticed it. He got a little too much swag for a dude going up in there because he was with a girl briefly, getting choked out, doing whatever they was doing, and then now he's going to court to testify and putting his career on the line and all of this and being labeled. Come on, dog. Too much swagger.
A black leather jacket, wearing jeans, smoking a cigarette. As you said, he is now on the stand now, and he's already talking about some of the threats that he says he faced while he was in a relationship with Cassie Ventura back in 2011, including one time that he says Cassie called to alert him that Shawn Combs had broken into his Los Angeles home. He says that he raced over there to try and confront Combs, so that when he got there, Combs was gone. He said some...
No. He went there to confront Combs. No disrespect. Just asking a question, from a gangster point of view. So what was he going to do if Shawn was there? Now they're calling him Shawn to make him human instead of superheroish with the Diddy and the P. Diddy and the love. So what would you have done if Shawn was there, Mr. Kid Cudi? Because what Cassie testified to is that when you asked about your car, Diddy allegedly said, what car? That car is gone. Why are we talking about that car? And you left it alone. But now may be his chance to get his get back, so that's where you have to scrutinize the testimony and ask yourself, why is he testifying? Is he testifying because he's trying to get back at Diddy, or is he testifying because he was called in and he's going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? That's for y'all to decide. But at the same time, you have to look at the track history of him and Diddy beefing. Do you think he's going to go in there and say anything positive about Diddy at this time? Put it in the comments. I know better. I want to know what you know. But that's where we at so that you can fully understand. Let's get back to Kid Cudi. But like I said, Kid Cudi ain't got nothing nice to say about Diddy. One, Kid Cudi, get a chance to get his get back and still get a chance to, be out here and have free calls with Cassie if Diddy's found guilty. Because I just want to ask you, this is not to be disrespectful. I'm just being real, and that's what this channel about. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds if you're a little sensitive right now to tap out before I ask this question. All right. And take that with you on the way out. That means don't try and sneak in, listen, and leave a stupid comment. Now, the question is, do you think that if Diddy is found guilty, he goes away for life, do you think that Cassie may continue free calls with someone else? It's just a question. Don't get your panties in a bunch. But these are the things we have to ask. We have to look at the pros and cons. Is this or has this become a normal behavior naturally or induced by P. Diddy? But either way, this behavior has been born, has been created. Do you think now that Diddy's gone, these free calls will stop on Cassie's end? It's just a question. See, I get deep with y'all. She got introduced to something, fell in love with it, didn't like it, but fell in love with it, didn't know how to get away from it. Because she had the battered wife syndrome, where you feel that you love the person, so you stick with them because you believe, one, they're going to change. You believe, two, that if you leave, they're going to harm you or your loved one. All of that fall into play, and it's a sad time, and that's why we don't need our women in this situation. That's why if you're in the sex world, the sex life, anything dealing with that, even local strippers, get out of that. Get out of that. And I mean, just keeping it 100. We as men, we love to go and watch it. But I mean, hey, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's a part of society. I'm no angel, and a lot of us watching is no angel. I know a lot of women that's watching this even go to strip clubs. But when these things create themselves and blow things out of proportion, like where do you really go from there? Let's get back to Kid Cudi. This might be a little too deep for y'all. Y'all ponder that, put that in the comment, let me know what you think.
Things had been tampered with. His dog seemed startled. He was locked in the bathroom. So he called police to file a break-in report. And he's also talking about a time.
Hold up. Did they say his dog felt startled? What kind of man has a dog that someone breaks in their house and the dog feels startled? I got to do some research on this guy. He has a dog that got startled when someone broke in the house, and he's a male, alpha, or is he? But I mean, this is just a question I want y'all to put. Do you know anything about this dude? Something about that, just from a street point of view, just something about that sounds a little sweet, let's say. You're a single man living with a dog. I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a little dog. I'm just saying that. But I mean, to say that it felt startled, okay, you go in a dog, a little chihuahua, he nibbling at your ankles and you lock him in the bathroom. But to say that he was startled, that's a whole nother ball game. That means that you're giving a little bit too much affection to this dog. That, he was traumatized from real life, and he is a dog that's supposed to still protect and bark no matter the smallest size he is. I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if this dude put on a dress or something before, man. No disrespect to him, but that's what that sound like to me. Something don't sound right. Something don't sound right, Mr. Cudi. Just that statement. I mean, that's how I do if I'm Diddy's lawyer. Like I said, I'm not defending Diddy. I'm just playing if I was defending this type of situation, how I would go at it. And by me saying about his dog being startled, he choosing a dog that wants to be startled or allowed himself to be startled is showing that the type of man he is an emotional man. An emotional man is a reckless man because men is governed by the instinct and desire to survive. And females is governed and driven by their feelings and emotions. And to have a dog that you have time to put all those feelings and emotions in, that he feels startled, it's a little suspect to an alpha male like me. And that's why they need an alpha male over there to dissect what's going on. I've been breaking this down from an alpha male. Like I said, not defending Diddy. Like I said, I'm going to speak both sides where, Cassie right here, she right there, Diddy right, he right. I mean, we just talking, but Kid Cudi don't look good right now.
From January of 2012, when he says his car was set on fire with a Molotov cocktail in his Los Angeles driveway.
All right, so my question to Kid Cudi, what did you do about it? Your car was set on fire on your property. What did you do about it? That tells you a lot about him and a lot about why he's testifying. This seems like get back for not doing nothing for the car being torched in his driveway. Now I can burn him. What do you need me to say? What do you need me to say? I'll say just the way you need me to say, boss. Anything to burn him, boss, because at the end of the day, he'd be gone. Now I have Cassie. Woo! Freak off.
Just last week, Ventura testified that Shawn Combs had threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car because he had found out about their relationship together.
Now, if I was a defense attorney, I would say, hold up, so my client was in his feelings. My client was but I love a dog type of dude. He was whooped. And he got in his body because another man was tapping what his lame ass chose to believe was his. Like he could control another human being. When this woman decided to give someone else her body, he stepped outside of himself because he also has Kid Cudi, aka feminine ways, that controls and govern him to a degree. So he acted upon his emotions based on another man making love to his woman. But what do that have to do with the RICO? Okay, pause, because we ride. See, we play devil's advocate. So no, then the government is going to come back and say, no, he blew the car up because he wanted to show that his power and his intimidation to make sure that Cassie stayed put and didn't go nowhere and continued to do the freak-offs and continue to be manipulated by him. That's what the government is going to say, and a damn good defense. But if I was his lawyer, I would say, hold up. That may be true in your world, but in the real world, we have an emotional man, and all the testimony is saying why he blew the car up. Not one of the testimonies said that he blew the car up to make Cassie stay put, to intimidate, threaten, or coerce, or force her to stay with him. Did anyone hear anything that say that, oh, he blew Kid Cudi car up because he wanted Cassie to stay? No, they said he blew Kid Cudi car up because he was whooped, because he was about a lover dog dude. So what does that have to do with enhancing the RICO or being one of the substantive counts on the RICO if the actual count is being testified to from the grand jury to the trial that this happened because he was in his emotions? Not his emotions about the RICO that you haven't established, but he was just in his emotions. So you're going to take him to trial and take everything he owned because we know two things so far. One, he whooped Cassie's. We know that. And that's what he's supposed to be tried with. I'm just saying that's how I would go if I was a lawyer. And then with the Kid Cudi thing, you bring this man in here to say that, you know, he tapped into my garden, watered it up a little bit, got the weeds growing, and now the weeds tried to run out and find somewhere else to plant their seed with Kid Cudi. And you bring him in here about the weed in the garden when we're talking about a RICO, not a weed in the garden. Come on, man. Do I sound like a lawyer or what? I know some of y'all agree, some of you don't, but I mean, let's keep it moving. All right.
But his lawyers have denied that he had any involvement in any arson. But remember that arson is a part of the racketeering charge that he's facing. So this is crucial testimony for jurors to hear.
And Bernarda,
see, now that's how they're going to try and make it a part of the racketeering by saying that Kid Cudi's car was blowing up because he wanted to inflict force and all this other stuff that's going on, and that's why he blew up Kid Cudi's car. That's what the government is going to say, as they very well should. Round of applause to the government for that. Round of applause to the government for that. All right. Relax, y'all. Relax, man. Let me finish the story. A round of applause to the government because that's a damn good theory. But the defense theory may be he was pussy whooped, couldn't control his feelings and emotions. We know that he has emotional problems. That's why he whooped Cassie's. We understand that. Jury, this is how my clothes. There was a joint where Harvey Weinstein said, oh, not Weinstein, why say Weinstein? Harvey Levine or whatever his name is on TMZ said that he was going to break down how the closing statement would be. Y'all want my closing statement? I'll give you the closing statement because I've been following the track. This whole thing is charades. Let's keep it moving.
How is the prosecution hoping Kid Cudi's testimony might help them prove that the sex trafficking and racketeering charges are appropriate?
Especially when he blew the car up allegedly because he was ussy whooped.
So Kid Cudi's testimony specifically goes to the racketeering conspiracy. It doesn't go to the sex trafficking or to the transportation for the purpose of engaging in prostitution charges. In regards to the racketeering conspiracy, you have to prove at least two predicate acts. And one of those predicate acts that the prosecution are trying to prove is that of arson for blowing up the car of Kid.
Right there, for arson of blowing up the car of Kid Cudi. But he blew up the car of Kid Cudi because his little dingaling was jealous and his dumbass reacted on it. But that had nothing to do with RICO. He didn't blow up the car to further the RICO enterprise because you haven't even established the enterprise. So how could you establish what he did because of the enterprise? The first thing you must do, government, is announce how the elements of the enterprise has been met. Once you show how the enterprise exists, then you bring in the Kid Cudi car. You bring in Kid Cudi and no one knows where the enterprise is at. Does anybody know where the enterprise is at other than trying to figure out where the government is going? Somebody put it in the comments. Have they proved that he made substantial income from the freak-offs? Well, we know he didn't make a dime. He spent his money. One of the main ingredients of a RICO is that you made substantial income and that you had 5 or more people working for you. Who have they showed that was working for him? Other than he had, the bodyguard. Every star has a bodyguard. Bodyguard dead wrong for bringing pills, taking pills, following up on Cassie, making sure Cassie all right, making sure Cassie iced up. They was dead wrong for that. Let's get that right. But where's this RICO? This is a man protecting what he feels like he loved because he has a twisted interpretation of love. Love comes from the soul. Love means you have to first love yourself before you could love anyone else. You must first love, know, and understand yourself before you could ever love, know, or understand anyone else. And we have seen that Diddy don't love himself, because if he did, he would have never put his hands on that beautiful woman for any reason. So for that, he gets a gunshot. But is that a RICO? You see how fly the content is here? Let's keep it moving.
Kid Cudi. So that is his main purpose in testifying, but also he's giving context as to Shawn Combs, his demeanor, his jealousy, his violent nature, what he was willing to do to try to separate Cassie from Kid Cudi, which ultimately ended up with ending that relationship, while brief it was.
See, right there, that's what the whole thing is about. Let's stop the crap, man. Let's stop the crap. Diddy got open on Cassie, did some old lame crap, you know what I mean? Put his hands on it. He should have been whooped himself. Anybody around Diddy at that time should have just whooped Diddy for that. You know what I mean? Diddy deserved the ass whooping for that. The ultimate ass whooping. We got that. But does that equate to him losing his company? Does that equate to him going to jail for life? Somebody put it in the comments. How many people whooped a woman's and how many got life? Well, that's what this seems like it's about. But I don't sleep on the government. You better believe they're going to have to put it together. But I do believe that the government should have established the elements of the RICO before they went forward with the substantive counts in the RICO. The substantive counts is crimes that was committed in the RICO. Then you have overt acts in the RICO. Overt acts is acts that happen over the course of the life of the RICO, which is nothing more than a conspiracy, but it becomes a RICO when you got 5 or more people. So we want to know who Diddy 5 or more people the government intend to use for the jury. But the crazy ride with that is that under that element with the 5 or more people, the jury don't have to be unanimous as to which 5 or more people. So they'll get away with not even naming any names because there's no unanimous verdict that's constitutionally warranted for the 5 or more people. But there is a unanimous verdict warranted for the substantive counts that carry more than a year and a day that they intend to use as substantive counts in the RICO. You see what I'm saying? And they're trying to say that this blowing the car up that Kid Cudi had is a substantive count when they haven't even established the RICO. How did Diddy make substantial income? Who did he extort when he's paying his money for this freaky ass service? Now, they say he transported because he paid for tickets or had a private jet. How many of y'all pay for tickets for a female or male to fly to come see you, to you males and females? And now it's labeled as ex-trafficking. If you sit back and allow that, you know what I mean? You be ready for your grand jury hearing. All right, but for that, let me tap out. Been here long enough. Y'all, I know the content is fire. Follow my daughter at Juanita Mecca Audio, Juanita. She speak about what it was like being locked up for 26 years. While I was gone, she was locked up on the street from a 7-year-old child to 34-year-old child and had to raise herself, and she speak what that was like. Gotta check that out, man. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Yeah. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. They be horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. They be horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the
cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. What? Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio.
Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio. And we gon' do it like we gon' do it like we keep it moving like we gotta do it like
Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. They be horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the
cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. What?